Hi everyone, it's Terry with Balanced Health and You with this week's Healthy Living Tip. And today I wanted to talk with you about bone broth. And this may be something you've been hearing a lot about lately. It's not anything new. Bone broth has been around for centuries, used by various cultures throughout the world. So it's not a new whole foods, healthy eating product, but it is something that has rose to the top lately, and you may have been hearing more and more about it and not real sure exactly, okay, what exactly is it, what is it good for, and what do I do with it type thing. So that's what I want to cover today, is that, there is that bone broth is something very easy to make, and that it is very beneficial for your health and well-being. And basically what bone broth is it's just where you take the bones of a meat that you have prepared and you put it in a crock pot and get the broth. You cover it with water and get broth. So it's you would take your bones and it wouldn't have a lot of meat on it, and you would roast the bones for a couple of hours. And then you put those bones in your crock pot, you cover it with water, add a little bit of celery, onion, carrot, no salt, nothing of that nature, and then just let it simmer for 24 hours. What I would do is I would take it after our meal is done, and then just go ahead and roast it for an hour and a half, 2 hours, put it in the crock pot, leave it until the next night, and after dinner, then I would strain it into, put it into some mason jars, put it in your refrigerator, and it's there until you're ready to use it. That simple. Now, I have seen it to where now you can buy it in the grocery stores, and so that is something, especially if you don't cook a lot of meat, but you want to have the benefit of having bone broth, then that would be something that you may be interested in. Now, here's my concern about buying store-bought bone broth, and that would be your box will say organic. If it's a chicken bone broth, it'll say organic, free range, no hormones, no antibiotics, no GMO, that type thing, and you'll say, oh, well, good, let me buy this. But let me share with you what I've discovered. Let me look at some ingredients of two brands of bone broth. Now, one is one that I have, I'm aware of, one that I've seen, and it is available in our local health food, or what we call real food store. And it's available at Whole Foods, and not sure about Trader Joe's, but places like that will have it, and maybe some of your local grocery stores. But my focus is the ingredients. So a good store-bought bone broth will have very few ingredients because, my goodness, it's just bone broth. And so here would be what you would look for. This particular brand has chicken stock, which is the water, the meat, the carrots, the onions, the celery. Okay, that's your chicken stock. And forgot to say, you also add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to your crock pot, and this helps draw out the flavor and nutrients of the bone. So don't forget that. So this particular one has all of that and the cider vinegar. Okay, so that would be one that I would buy. If I was going to buy bone broth, this would be a good option to buy. Now this other one that I discovered is at a familiar big box store, and it says organic. All the things that you would be looking for, and I cannot stress enough to not go entirely upon the packaging. Always read your ingredient labels, and this is a typical case in point. The front of the box is everything that we would want: organic, free range, no antibiotics, no hormones, no GMO. Everything that you would want, you would say, oh, great, this is what I want to buy. But read the ingredients. Now, here are the ingredients to this organic bone broth. This is a beef bone broth, and this is the ingredients: Organic beef stock, okay? That's what we want. We want the beef, the water, and then, the celery, the carrots, the onions. It has sea salt. It has organic beef flavor. Not real sure why I need organic beef flavor in my beef bone broth if you're using beef bones. And here's the clincher. Organic cane sugar. I've yet to figure out why I want sugar in my broth. But, even if you buy chicken broth to cook your rice in, read the ingredients. There's cane sugar in it. Flavor. Have no idea what kind of flavor. It's just the word flavor. So, not a good thing. Organic vegetables. Yoo-hoo! Organic carrots, organic celery, organic onion. Oh, and look, organic beef fat. Well, if I wanted broth, I would have just dropped the whole piece of meat into my water and made me some broth, and then I would have the fat. But, all in preference, I reckon. Yeast extract, organic tomato paste. There again, not sure why I want tomato paste in my bone broth. Organic onion powder, organic garlic powder, and that's it. So, not sure where this comes into the realm that this is bone broth, but it's not, okay? So, there again, you can buy bone broth on the shelves, but do be aware that not all bone broth is the same, and this is where, what you need to be aware of. So that's how you make it. Again, you just take your bones, roast it for an hour and a half, 2 hours, put it in your crock pot, cover it with water, add a little bit of onion, a little bit of carrot, a little bit of celery, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and then just let it simmer for up to 24 hours. And then strain it to get all the vegetables that you've added, strain it, and then just put it in the refrigerator until you're ready to use. Now, you've done that and you're asking, well, okay, why do I care? What do I do with it? What is the benefit? Well, there's lots of benefit. Like I said, when the bone broth cools, a layer of gelatin is going to rise to the top. And a lot of people are like, ugh, and will scrape that off and throw it away. Well, don't. That is what you're after. You're after that gelatin. That gelatin is the collagen that your body needs. This is what you want. So a cup of bone broth will have like 7 grams of protein. It's going to have lots of nutrients, lots of minerals, lots of amino acids. All of this benefits your well-being and your health and well-being. The gel that forms on the top, like I said, is collagen. So if you've got any inflammation in your joints, if you have knee joint pain, wrist, finger, elbow, shoulder, any kind of joint pain, this bone broth is going to help fight that inflammation of those joints. And it's that gel in the bone broth that is doing that. So again, don't throw that away just because you think it's yucky and you don't need it. You do need it. You also, it's because it's a collagen, it will also benefit your hair, your skin, your nails. It increases the nutrients going to those. And so I take a powdered beef collagen twice a day for my skin. And I do that because as we age, our skin gets thinner. And you may have seen this on elderly family members in late 70s and their 80s. Their skin is just extremely thin, and the least little thing will tear their skin. Well, this is because the collagen has gone away. And so my desire is to alleviate the potential of that happening. And so I've been taking collagen in a powder form. I just mix it in with my morning coffee, and then my afternoon tea. I'll just mix it. It's flavorless. Just blend it in there with it, and it's good to go. So that helps with like I said, the strength of your hair, the thickness of your hair, the strength of your nails and the strength of your skin. So it's an added boost. You can, again, you get all the minerals and nutrients that the bones have, benefits you all in every aspect of it. So one of the questions that has been asked is, well, what's the difference in broth, stock, and bone broth? And so I just want to kind of highlight that. Broth is still the bones. You're cooking the bones, but you're basically, you can roast them or not, but they may still have meat on them. And so you're getting that broth with the little pieces of meat. Stock is where you take like the whole chicken, or maybe you've got a pack of roast beef and you just put it in your crock pot, cover it with water, and you cook it. And so therefore you've got all the meat in that liquid. So that's considered stock. And this would be, where we would, like we wanted to have chicken and rice or that type of thing. This is that basically. We tend to call it chicken broth or whatever, but basically it's stock because the meat is all in the broth. And then bone broth, those bones have relatively no meat on them. You still roast the bones, and you simmer the bones for up to 24 hours, where like in just broth, you would only simmer it for a couple of hours. It's still, all of them still have protein, all of them still have nutrients. It's just that the bone broth has more. And so it's richer in the nutrients and the minerals and the amino acids and the collagen, the protein. It's just a richer, stronger flavor. So the way you can use it is you can use it for the base of your stews and soup. You can even just heat up a cup and just drink it if you're feeling kind of slouchy in the afternoons, or you just want something in the evenings after dinner. Just heat up a cup of bone broth, and you'll be able to reap the benefits of having that added nutritional value and protein added to your diet. And then if you are fixing vegetables and you just want that added nutrients, just put some of the bone broth in your vegetables and steam your vegetables in the bone broth. I use it for anything where, like in fixing wild rice, quinoa, rather than using water, I'll use broth. And that way I get the added nutrients and the protein added to it on top of whatever, like the quinoa has protein in it, so I'm added more protein to it. So there's just all different kind of ways you can use it. Like I said, just look at what you're cooking. If you're adding water to cook it in, then add the broth instead. So hope this helps. Hope you will try it out. If you fix your own, let us know how it works for you. If you find some new uses to use it with, share in the comment section below. And we're all after healthy living, and these are just some tips to get you going in that direction. So have a great day, and I will see you next week with our healthy living tips.